there's obviously some rumors that have started, and it's rumors that we hear a version of every single year over the past couple of years, because that's where the Penguins have been at the trade deadline time frame over the past couple of seasons. But according to Mark D'Amico, senior editor for RG.org, a fire sale is imminent for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and president of hockey operations Kyle Dubas is going to be spearheading that effort. Quote, Sid, Malkin, Rust, and the two kids, Phil Tomasino and Owen Pickering, they're off limits for now, but everything else can be had for the right price. That's what D'Amico wrote at RG.org via his source with the Pittsburgh Penguins, or close to the Pittsburgh Penguins, I should say. Like I mentioned, we've heard a version of this a lot in recent years, though. The Pens getting ready for a fire sale, the Pens getting ready to sell the farm. Are you surprised at the timing of these rumors right now?
No, I'm not. I mean, whenever that story was put out, the Pens had 3 wins since returning from the Christmas break. Not good. Not a good stretch, considering we're nearing February. The win counter has only gone to 4. So, again, it was a good game against LA. They'll need to continue stuff like that to really maintain that, and to end stuff like this, to end these sort of conversations that are being had. Regardless of win or lose, it seems like there's going to be trades. I think even Josh Yohe said that a couple weeks ago. Marcus Pettersson is just about as good as gone. As for the rest of the lineup, I think it also turns, I think Yohe also mentioned that essentially everyone who doesn't have a full no move clause is on the move, or could be on the move, or could be sold at the right price. There's some new wrinkles with this piece from Marco, who I trust quite a bit. I've been chatting with Marco quite a lot this season. He sent me quite a few notes throughout the year, and he's knocked a couple things out of the park. One of those being the recent escrow payment thing. He came out with that one first. So you can't take what he says lightly. There's got to be smoke or fire to this smoke. We'll see where it goes. And I mean, for what it's worth, the timing of it doesn't surprise me. Again, 4 wins since coming back from the Christmas break.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to distill it even further, 3-4-3 since the new year, what has that done to the Penguins in the standings? Look at where they were whenever the calendar flipped to January. And both of us sat here on this show and said it. The way that the Eastern Conference was shaping out at that moment, one bad week could put you in a very, very bad position. Well, the Penguins had more than one bad week. They had a horrible homestand that was following up a rough stretch before that since coming back from the Christmas break. And all of a sudden, I mean, I think it was Josh Yohe of The Athletic yesterday as well, who put out, you're closer to a top 5 spot than you are to a wild card spot right now, or a top 5 draft spot than you are to a wild card spot going into yesterday's action. But that makes it very non-surprising, especially with the 2-week Four Nations face-off break that's going to happen and make February feel like a very, very quick month, which is supposed to be the month leading into the trade deadline, which is a busy month for all general managers. So the fact that they're going out on this road trip and then this comes out makes a lot of sense, right? It's kind of a light the fire under them. Hey, by the way, this discussion has started. You're on a road trip. It's time to start making some hay if you're the Pittsburgh Penguins. But I will push back and just say simply, you trust Marco. I trust Marco. Rumors are rumors, so you trust them to your severe level of trust based in the reporter who's reporting them. But fire sale, I know people are going to hear that. They're going to be like, everybody's gone. Raquel's gone. Pettersson's gone. O'Connor's gone. Jari's gone. That verbiage was used last year, and need I remind everybody, the only people that were traded were Jake Gensel, Magnus Hellberg, and Chad Ruhwedel. So just because the rumors are a fire sale is imminent, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to see a fire sale, because, as it should be, Kyle Dubas is not just going to trade people for the sake of trading people.
You're absolutely right about that. I can remember all trade deadline day last year just waiting for other things to happen. The Jake Gensel thing happened the night before. And it just all day trade deadline day was just waiting. There's a trade. Magnus Hellberg. Okay, let's force this one out and move on and continue to wait, just for Kyle to say that's it. That's all we're doing. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a different, it could be different for the Penguins this year just because there is one less year of Crosby, Malkin, Letang. There is one less year of this situation. There is new opportunities growing every day when it comes to trades in the NHL. Tristan Jarry is not going to go anywhere. Kyle Dubas already said he tried working on that one over the summer.
Yeah.
Nothing came of it. That's going to continue, especially with the poor play that we're getting from him. As for, Marcus Pettersson can be had at the right price. That's pretty obvious. Raquel will likely get moved in the summer with the salary cap going up exponentially. For now, it's, like I said, I do take what Marco says. I don't want to say heavily, but I'm looking at it and kind of understanding where all these words are coming from. Essentially saying the only ones locked up right now are Crosby, Malkin, Rust, and Tomasino and Pickering.
Yeah.
Cool with Pickering.
We'll get to Tomasino in a second. Yeah.
Yeah. But leaving the door open and for guys like Erik Karlsson and most shockingly, I thought Chris Letang.
Yeah, those are the two most notable omissions there. They weren't on the off limits list. And in fact, Marco, specifically mentioned both of those two, saying with Letang, his source said, quote, "I don't know right now about Chris Letang." And then also Marco wrote down about Karlsson. Pittsburgh is open to retaining more to get a deal done with Erik Karlsson. So with those omissions to the off limits list, and then of course the additions of those little flavors of insider knowledge there, what are your thoughts on the fact that Letang and Karlsson aren't on the off limits list?
Karlsson doesn't shock me. What about Pittsburgh fans have kind of wanted Karlsson traded since they got him. It's sort of been so that one doesn't shock me. It's gonna land pretty evenly with the fan base, I'd say, whenever everyone's sort of been asking for it, but also not really. It's been a very mixed bag with Karlsson, and he's on pace for 55 points this year, I think it is. I think it's one less than he had last year, so really when it comes to offensive defensemen, are we getting it? And as for the Letang thing, because the source said, I don't know, I'm going to label that as he's likely still locked in, just because that's everything we've learned over the years. That's everything that, I've pretty much heard over the years. And, this 1 year isn't going to change much. I think they might still see Letang through at least the Malkin year, whenever his full no move clause does kick and change a bit. And then Montreal will start making the call.
Yeah.
As for Karlsson, again, not totally shocked because Pittsburgh's kind of been asking for it since he got here. We'll see where it goes. It'll be up to Karlsson to agree to it too. We'll see. And as for the additions, I like Pickering being on that list. Love Pickering being on that list.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right? He's 20 years old. This guy was your first round pick a couple years ago, and he's expeditedly gotten to the NHL and been pretty good at the NHL level in a lot of very different situations. So that wasn't a surprise.